te acerca a ti, a la persona que eres.
Pues es algo que obviamente nunca en tu vida has sentido. Sientes un poco de miedo y resistencia porque claro que yo en algún momento pensé que me moría, pero pues Rafa y Perla te explican al principio que te dejes ir, entonces como que luchaba un poco conmigo entre ese miedo y ese déjate ir. Oía voces, oía cosas, como que todo pasaba como rápido. Yo sentí obviamente que me tardé ahí 1 hora, ¿no? Me dicen que fueron 10 minutos, 15 minutos. También siento que te tardas en regresar, como que empecé a ver luz, así luz, mucha luz. De repente ya empecé a ver como a oír el agua, ¿no? A tocar el pasto, a sentir mi cuerpo. Te tardas en reaccionar, que sientes tu cuerpo dormido. Yo quería abrir la boca y no podía, por ejemplo. Y ya después va pasando poco a poco, entonces empiezas a sentir como mucha paz, mucha tranquilidad.
I can't think of a more powerful tool to explore the whole question of what is consciousness.
And plants, and all sorts of mammals, and what is the role it plays in humans?
So I don't think it's universally present in nature by accident. It has a real function. We have co-evolved with these plants. There's a purpose and a meaning to it.
Synthetically, it's 2 steps from tryptophan, right? 2 trivial enzymatic steps from tryptophan. Well, tryptophan is an amino acid, of course, and it's everywhere. So all organisms have tryptophan, and all organisms have the 2 key enzymes that lead to the synthesis of DMT. And these enzymes are very ancient enzymes. They're all over the place. They're, again, part of basic metabolism. So theoretically, anything could synthesize DMT.
The countdown was like, you know, counting down for preparing for your death, like waiting to surrender. And you'd feel the coldness. And the coldness just going through your veins, and it's really indescribable. It's hard to, and then there'd be a hum, and the hum would get louder and louder, and to the point where it broke apart everything that I was or knew. It was just this, it just got louder and louder until you just had to surrender to the sound. And then you were there.
¿Recomendarías esta experiencia?
Mucho, la verdad mucho. O sea, siento que es como un proceso personal, cada quien lo vive a su manera y dicen que además sigues trabajando con esto que tienes durante la semana, entonces sí, mucho.
Entonces, de Rafa y Perla, que fueron las personas que te dieron la recomendación de la medicina, ¿qué piensas de ellos?
Las mejores guías que puede haber, porque en un principio te tranquilizan mucho, te explican que eso es como muy importante, y durante el proceso, o sea, sientes como de verdad la guía, o sea, la mano de Perla en el pecho, sabes como que lo necesitas. Rafa siempre, o sea, ¿no? Él fue el que, bueno, me acuerdo de ti cuando desperté, es el primero que me acuerdo de ver tu sonrisa y fue como de, ay, qué lindo.
DMT, the spirit molecule, you know, it's a conundrum, it's a paradox. What the spirit is the inner world. The molecule is the external world. So the psychedelics or entheogens take us from the science to the spirit.
These substances are tools that can be used to expand awareness in all areas of life and apply that expanded awareness for the betterment of people's lives and their communities, their families.
No, la verdad es una experiencia inolvidable, inexplicable. La sensación es una sensación maravillosa y yo la verdad voy muy contento, ¿no? Voy muy satisfecho de la experiencia. En ese viaje yo sentí mucho éxtasis, o sea, empecé a sentirme como desprendiendo cargas emocionales que traía yo, cargas de mis antepasados, de mis ancestros. Y yo me sentí muy liberado, me sentí muy feliz y sobre todo empecé a sentirme muy agradecido, muy agradecido. Del fondo de mi ser brotaba el agradecimiento, que hay una sensación de llanto, pero de ese llanto de felicidad, vaya, de agradecimiento, de vivir, estaba yo viviendo una experiencia muy bien. Ahorita me siento súper relajado, reconfortado, descargué todo, acabo de soltar todo y me voy muy bien, muy contento. La verdad es que fue una gran experiencia.
Recomendado entonces.
Muy recomendado. Llegué a la experiencia con miedo, ellos me infundieron confianza y la verdad, muy bien. Muy recomendable y apto para todas las edades, ¿eh? Aquí no hay edad. La verdad, gente joven, gente madura, pues la verdad es una gran experiencia. Sinceramente es una gran experiencia.
It doesn't leave a whole lot of room for that narrative of who am I, what am I doing here, why am I in this space, what am I learning? It's almost like there was too much information to process in that few minute span to integrate once you drop back down.
Through meditation, through fasting, chanting, any number of techniques, there might be a burst of endogenous DMT that was correlated with mystical and near-death experiences. And I had this theory that there is a big similarity between psychedelics and experiences that were possible with a lot of meditation.
Saber que tengo algo aquí que cuesta trabajo sacarlo y está muy adentro, ¿no? Como eso, como tus demonios, cosas oscuras, ¿no? Luz, no deberían estar ahí, ¿no? O ahorita vienen como muchas ideas a mi mente, ¿no? Decir, escuchar más tu voz interior.
I think like a lot of people in my generation, I first heard about DMT through Terence McKenna. And it was a very funny way to become aware of such a powerful and interesting and anthropologically rich topic as a compound like DMT, because it really became it was almost more of a concept than something that people were necessarily taking.
And what we now understand is that these secondary compounds are, in a sense, the language of plants. These are messenger molecules.
We are now, whether we like it or not, in the psychochemical age. In the future, it's not going to be what book you read. It's going to be what chemicals do you use to open or close your consciousness. Chemicals can help us learn faster. Chemicals can help us expand or contract our consciousness.
For cultural reasons, the whole class of compounds got pulled off the clinical bench, and no research has gone on for 40 years. So scientifically, I can't imagine a more exciting area to be pursuing.
The drug or the compound or the chemical that seemed like the best candidate to sort of reopen the U.S. front on psychedelic research would be DMT.
Despite the fact that DMT had been used safely in earlier studies and it was this natural component of the brain, DMT is one of the most profound and potent psychedelics known.
The set and setting is not what you're seeing. You're not seeing anything. The set and setting is your internal self. The things that you have learned, the capacities that you have achieved, the conditions of your own psyche and psychology, these are your set and setting.
Renaissance, white, fluffy clouds with the gods and the angels and all that stuff is what I saw. I thought I was dying and going out, but...
So I didn't know whether it was my birth I was re-experiencing, my death which was yet to come, because I know that time crumbles. The linearity of time is totally meaningless in these states. You are at the Godhead, the point where all time folds in on itself.
More and more layers of my humanity start peeling off. Finally, the last you know, almost the last layer, and I can't even describe what it is, but you have, at some reaches way in there, there is like the last layer of that which defines you as a human being, and it goes.
There was no concept of time. It was so disorienting. I was so terrified. I have never in my entire life been so terrified to be blasted out of my body, to leave my body behind, to be going at warp speed backwards through my own DNA, out the other end, into the universe.
And so I went right into this white light. As soon as I went into it, I lost any sense of being different, any sense of what I was doing, past, any sense of future. It was absolutely blissful. It wasn't I. I was everything. I was the light. There was no sense of separation, no shadows, no differences, no past, no future. It was all present and white yellow light.
And I'm now whizzing through this sucker like if it was nothing. I'm flying through it. But now I know what the picture puzzle pattern door is. The picture puzzle pattern door is the farthest reaches of your humanity. This is the doorway into what defines you as a human being. When you go past that, you stop being human.
This is like the actual core of where all of reality is emanating from. This is where meaning comes from. Symbols were pouring out. They were intertwined. Every symbol and letter and in every language was pouring out of this point.
Intellectual awareness that this was a very advanced civilization or life forms or whatever they were were so far advanced from what we know here on Earth.
And there were these winged beings. I don't remember exactly what they looked, but were like angels, something like angels, that were majestically kind of flying through the space. My sense was at some point, there was this implicit sense, this is the divine realm.
As before, I recognized it, and this incredible transcendent peace came over me. I have never in my life ever felt such peace. Everything was stripped away. Every hope, every fear, every attachment to the material world was completely stripped out of me. I was free to just be the essence of a soul.
There is that familiar sensation of kind of coming back into the body. And I do remember that. That was part of almost all of those experiences of kind of coalescing back into sensory awareness and a sense of having a body and of that becoming a little more substantial and then say, oh yeah, here I am. And I live in a body and I'm okay.
How long was I gone? Because I needed to know. For a moment, I'm shocked. I'm like, I was gone for 15 minutes. 1,000 years of experience in 15 minutes.
I get really frustrated because, of course, there's no way to prove that where I went was deep space, that I encountered, you know, other entities, other life forms that exist in this universe. At some point, maybe our civilization will become advanced enough and we will throw off these anchors of impossible thought, that these things are impossible, that it's not, you know, that everything that exists where we can see it.
The chemistry of their brain, which is the organ of consciousness, was being changed by DMT in such a way that they could then receive information that we weren't able to receive normally.
This is not a new phenomenon. Entities in altered states, you know, have been recognized for an extremely long time in many cultures over the millennium. Helpers, spirit assistants, angels, all of these different entities have been fairly common throughout man's experience of altered states and through much of man's mythology.
DMT is somehow, it seems to me in my experience, more of a breakthrough than LSD, mushrooms, peyote, and so on. It's instructive. It's more supportive of future evolution and the creation of the future. And it is, in itself, more of a mystery. How could this little stuff produce something that has intelligence, that is actually a doorway to another reality?
I still don't have very much use for the concept of God, but I do believe that there are higher levels, transcendent levels of reality, and I'm actually now starting to really believe that the brain is not the source of consciousness, is not really who we are, but is more like a radio tuner for something way bigger.
I'm actually quite convinced that we're probing the biological basis of moral and ethical behavior. I think these primary religious experiences really are at the bedrock of the world's religions.
The research and knowledge and speculation about the pineal body and DMT is in fact the hand of God that is interacting with our natural evolution to stimulate and accelerate the process of redemption of individual and of collective global enlightenment.
Bueno, nuestra experiencia con el sapito, en verdad, ¿cómo podría explicarlo? Es que es algo inexplicable, te regresa a una raíz, a una esencia que nosotros tenemos como humanos. Experiencias ancestrales marcadas en instantes, como si fueran capítulos, un cortometraje haciéndose en cuadritos, pasando todas tus vidas ancestrales, de dónde provienes, la conexión que tienes con la naturaleza, con el ser humano, con el mundo. En verdad es la conexión más directa a Dios. Lo que te motiva, la energía que tienes internamente, estalla, explota y te unificas a una manera impresionante de tu ser. Te unificas no nada más contigo mismo, sino con toda la humanidad y con todo la tierra, con todo el aire, con todo el viento y con todo el fuego, con todo. Sentí la tristeza, no era mía nada más, sino que era de toda la gente. La sentí aquí en el corazón, un dolor, sí, pero como una compasión, ¿saben? O sea, con compasión para ayudar, para mejorar las cosas, para en verdad vivir más claramente, apasionadamente, amorosamente, indescriptiblemente. O sea, darme cuenta que el dolor del humano lo sentí personalmente. Un amor incondicional de mí proyectando hacia el humano, hacia quien sea. No importa de dónde provenimos, tu percepción de lo que es la vida, los problemas, todo se te hace muy pequeño, problemas, situaciones que estás pasando que tú dices, bueno, quisiera que en verdad lo probaran, en verdad te rompe el ego. A partir es un rompeaguas a partir del sapito a este momento en mi vida. O sea, veo que dónde tengo que ir, hacia dónde tengo que ir. ¿Para qué decimos? Tienen que, en verdad, experimentar esta parte de la sustancia espiritual, en verdad, esta molécula espiritual, ahorita que lo veo, es impresionante, poderosa.
this experience is so familiar for a lot of different people and is so easily acquired, and so much information comes with so little effort that it is a kind of a miracle. It's a miraculous way for us to transcend ordinary reality and obtain maybe an intimation of what's necessary for survival.
Because of the collapse of consciousness, spiritual and scientific knowledge split apart. Both these modes of knowing have to come together. In other words, science and technology, from a traditional religious perspective, is not an extra. It is part of the process by which humanity is going to evolve into its next stage.
I think that the name of the game is to show science the pertinence of this somewhat outlandish realm. And it's not just crazy stuff. It shouldn't be considered as, let's say, not even worthy of interest or illegitimate.
What we are looking for out there is really in here. It is the doorway. It is the gate.
Part of our work is to respect these medicines, and then to change the culture enough that people doing them can be respected and held, and not everybody needs to do them, not everybody should or wants to, but that it isn't pushed to the side. And so part of that does involve then research, because that's how in our reductionist society we validate things.
Who have drug and alcohol abuse. And given that we know that DMT and similar alkaloids have a very strong effect on the same receptor sites that are involved in depression, and the notion that most people, in my experience, who use drugs and alcohol are self-medicating a deep depression or an anxiety.
Ultimately, what I want to do is see these things used in the way that they were used traditionally, to heal people, help people. And right now, helping people come to terms with dying.
It changes your whole relationship to your death, your impending death. Believe it or not, you're gonna die. And now, with this tool of having crossed over already, some of the fear around that will disappear.
Utilizing substances like DMT or 5-methoxy-DMT may really help us prepare by practicing a transient dying experience.
And sort of give them a vision of what could be past death, as well as a better perspective on the accomplishments they've made in life, a better feeling about what they've done in their own lives.
I don't know if callous is the word, but that's the first word that comes to mind. I think if you're really going to open people up like that, you need to do it for a purpose, not just for scientific curiosity. And you know, I'd like to be helpful rather than just sort of smart or clever.
I think DMT is a forcible reminder that there's a lot more about reality, the universe, ourselves, the biosphere, whatever, that there's a lot more to it than we imagine.